Welcome to Marketing in Your Car, the podcast for funnel hackers everywhere. You are now part of a small group of underground entrepreneurs who are trying to change the world through the products and the services that we believe in. But because we don't rely on venture capitalists, we don't have financial safety nets. So we have to do things differently. We have to do things smarter. We do that through an art and a science that we call funnel hacking. Now, this podcast will give you a glimpse at the daily life of a funnel hacker. So let's get started. Hey everyone, good morning. This is Russell Brunson. Welcome back to Marketing in Your Car. I'm heading into day 7 of 8 of our Inner Circle Mastermind meetings. We got a new group coming through today, which is going to be so awesome. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little bit worn out and tired, but I get so fired up by hanging out with these people that it's all worth it and amazing. And each new group, it's like, it's interesting. There's like such a different dynamic to each group that comes. And like I get so much different value from each one. Like everyone's like, which group's your favorite? Like each one are so unique for so many different reasons, and like it's just amazing how like it all just works. Anyway, I don't know. I'm just grateful and blessed to have a chance to be part of this and be able to facilitate it. It's insane. I can't even believe. I gotta pinch myself. Like I can't believe this is my life right now. I get to hang out with all these amazing people. So that's awesome. Heading in. So wanted to give you guys, I'm driving right into the sun. Like I literally can't see anything. The car in front of me, I'm just looking at his tires, hoping that like he doesn't slam on his brakes. I cannot see his brake lights. Anyway, so if I die, if I crash, like, that is why I'm driving into the sun. All right, so I got a big insight that I got yesterday that I thought was kind of cool. So the perfect webinar, as you guys all know, it's perfect. The only time it doesn't work is when people screw it up, because it's perfect. You don't mess with the perfect webinar. It's perfect. In fact, if you don't have a copy of the script yet, go to perfectwebinar.com and you can get, or excuse me, perfectwebinarsecrets.com. I actually own perfectwebinar.com, and then it expired somehow, and some dude bought it and then wanted to sell it back to me for like 20 grand. I was like, you know what? I'm going to buy Perfect Webinar Secrets. Take that. $10. Anyway, so, yeah, so if you haven't got the script, go get it. And we, over the last, 2.5 years here in the Inner Circle stuff, have been going deep with people. And like, I can't even tell you how many millionaires have been created from the Perfect Webinar script, which is so cool. In fact, the Expert Secrets book, the whole book is basically focused on building out a perfect webinar, but it goes like insane deep. So the perfectwebinarsecrets.com gives you the script and the psychology behind it. When the Expert Secrets book comes out, it'll give you like how to build your cult based on the perfect webinar. It's so cool. I mean, culture. So it's, anyway, I can't even wait. So one of the big insights I had yesterday, which was interesting, and I'm excited to test this and hope some of you guys will as well. So if you look at the perfect webinar structure, it's based off convincing somebody of one big idea, right? Like what's the one big domino that if I can convince them of this one thing, then they have to give me their money, right? Like for example, if I can convince you that you have to have a sales funnel to make money online, and that Clickfunnels is the only sales funnel software on earth, if I can convince you of that, then you have to give me money, right? There's no other alternatives. So that's the goal. Like every business, like how do you create that one belief, right? If I can get them to believe this, then they have no choice but to join my culture. Like they have to, right? And so like that'd be the first part of the perfect webinar. And again, I didn't talk about it in the original script because I didn't know that. It took 2 years of like working with hundreds and hundreds of people on the webinars to figure that piece out. But that's number one. Just figuring out that, like, what's the one big domino that if you knock down that domino, everything else becomes irrelevant. Or either knocks down every other domino or they become irrelevant, right? So that's the number one thing to figure out for your webinar pitch, or any pitch. I say webinar because I always talk about webinars, but this is actually the point of this podcast, is that this works outside of webinars. But I digress. Let me step back. So then the second thing is, after you have the big domino, then I gotta get someone to believe that, right? And so there's a lot of things we do to cause that belief. Seriously, the guy in front of me just stopped in the middle of the road. Come on. So there's a lot of things to do, right? So like, we talk about the epiphany bridge stories, talk about how we tell the stories to get people in the same state that we were in when we had that epiphany. These are all things I've talked about in the podcast in the past. But then look at, there's like typically 3 core beliefs that keep somebody from believing whatever your big domino is you're trying to knock over, right? The first thing is they have to believe in the vehicle you're trying to convince them. So I had to get people to believe in funnels. You have to get them to believe in ketosis. You have to get them to believe in membership sites, whatever it is that you have, right? You got to convince them of the vehicle, that it's the right vehicle. So that's usually secret number one, is tied to their false belief patterns around the vehicle and convincing them that the vehicle is right. After you convince them, yes, the vehicle is correct, I do need funnels, ketosis is a way for me to lose weight, whatever that thing is, right? Then the second thing that happens is people are like, oh, that's cool, but I don't know how to build a funnel, or that's cool, but I can't not eat candy, come on. And so the second one is like, you got to break down their false beliefs about their internal beliefs, right? Like what do they believe about themselves? Like, I can't do this because I'm not technical, because I don't have willpower, I don't, whatever. So you just gotta convince them, like, no, it's so easy, you actually can do it. Let me show you why and how. And like, so the second secret is always tied to belief in the internal self. And then the third secret is typically tied to like some external thing. Like, well, I believe funnels are the way. I believe I can use ClickFunnels, but I don't know how to get traffic. So even if I did, it wouldn't matter. Okay, I believe that ketosis is the way for me to lose weight. I finally believe I have the willpower to do it. The problem is my spouse, my wife, makes me chocolate ice cream for breakfast every day, and there's no way she's gonna stop, or whatever, right? Like, what's the external things you're gonna blame it on? Because after a while, people are like, oh, I could do it, but it's just blah, blah, blah. This thing over here causing me to not have success. So you got to figure out, like, what's the external belief, and smash that one too, right? And then you transition to the stack, the pitch, the close, all that stuff. Okay, so anyway, there's like a 5-minute rundown of the perfect webinar that is hopefully, if this is the first time you've heard it, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. If you've gone through a little bit, you're just like, oh, Russell just went another level deep. So hope that helps. If it didn't help, go get perfectwebinarsecrets.com, watch the video, then come back and listen to this, and this was just like the next layer on top of that. And again, when the book comes out, it'll go deep in a cool way though, not like a nerdy, like deep where you get so lost and confused you're just like confused. It'll be deep where it's like, this gets cooler and cooler every page. Hopefully that's the goal. Anyway, so I digress once again. Sorry, ADD coming back. All right, so the whole point of today's podcast is to Inner Circle had some epiphanies. So obviously I perfected the perfect webinar standing on stages in front of a whole bunch of big audiences trying to sell them stuff, which is the best way to master a skill, because what happens when you're in front of 1,000 people trying to sell something? Either they stand up and run the back room and give you money, or they don't. And there's no way to fake that. Everybody can see. And so after being humiliated on stage multiple times, not selling anything, I started like, I've got to master this. And so I spent about 2 years of my life on this circuit, on the road, speaking and like perfecting this thing. And it still always evolves, as you can tell from today. Like it keeps evolving. But initially it came from me on stage, speaking and selling, and excuse me. So that's kind of where it started, and then it transitioned over to teleseminars, which was awesome, and then transitioned to webinars. And so I call it perfect webinar, but like I almost feel like I'm cheapening it by calling it that. In fact, in the book I'm trying to give a different name for it. It's still have the word perfect in it though, because it's perfect. Like, don't screw it up. So the perfect webinar. So we've done it on stage, on teleseminars, and on webinars. And so a little while ago, I wanted to see, like, well, I wonder if this works like in sales videos. And so I did a couple sales videos. We did one in our market. We did Funnel University. We did it as a sales video. We did it. I just created one for Have It All Moms, which is a weight loss project that we're part of, and a couple other places. And guess what, guys? It works as sales video script. In fact, I think it's superior to any other script ever. In the .com Secrets book, I taught Star Story Solution, which I think is good, but it's not as good as the perfect webinar. I got to think of a name, because like, here's my VSL webinar. Like, no, it's anyway. So obviously the VSL usually is truncated. Stories are shorter, stories are faster, but it's the same pitch, identical. In fact, you'll be able to see those soon. The Funnel University one's a longer one, like it's almost like a real webinar. But I've done ones on Facebook Live that are shorter. I've done ones. Have It All Moms is about a 25-minute video, I think. So it's compressed, but it's the same process you're taking them through. Is like, what's the one big domino? What's the vehicle? What's the internal belief? What's the external belief? And then move them through the stack and create an irresistible offer. So that's kind of how it works. So yesterday, one of the guys showed me that he did a whole product launch, kind of like a product launch, but not really. But he didn't want to go create a whole webinar, because he's like, if I do a webinar and it's 2 hours long and I do it and people don't buy, like, I don't know what spot kept them from buying. He's like, I don't know. So he's like, I didn't want to do a webinar until I figured it out. So what he did, it's John Hutchinson, by the way. He's a super cool dude in the financial market. So he recorded a video of each thing, right? So the intro, and then a video of secret 1, secret 2, secret 3, stack, and close. And then he made it where, I'd say product launch, but it's not really a product launch. It's that he drove people to the first video, they watched it, and then on the video, it's like, click here for this, to go to the next page. or see video 2. He clicks there, boom, takes him now to secret number 1, and then click to secret 2, secret 3, and then click to the close. And so what he did is he was watching like what happens between video 1 and video 2, video 2, video 3, video 3. So he could see like where's the drop off point? What is not inspiring people to go to the next step? And what's interesting is like video 1 and the transition from video 1 to video 2 and video 2 to video 3 sucked. And then 3 to 4, 4 to 5, 5 to close were amazing. So he's like, I know that like the last 2/3 of my webinar is flawless, but the first 2/3 are boring people because they're not progressing at a high enough rate. So he's going back now and he's tweaking those things. Then he'll keep testing it, and then eventually he'll turn it into a webinar. But it's just like, I thought that was really smart, really intelligent way to kind of think about things and look at things. And while he's doing that, all of a sudden I had this thought. And some of you guys may notice some of my emails recently have been super long. I hired this dude named Levi, and what we're doing is I'm like when I write emails and I write them out, like I don't know why I hate writing email copy. And I have these like cool stories, but I get annoyed writing the copy, so I just like truncate them and they're like not cool. And so I hired this guy named Levi. What I do is I vox him an email. And so like I'll send him a 10 or 15 minute vox. He like transcribes it and he tweaks it, cleans it up and turns it into an email, loads in the autoresponder. I log in, reread it, make a couple tweaks and click send, which is why I've had like a whole bunch of these like 2,000, 3,000 word emails that are converting like crazy. Just telling stories the way that I would tell a story if I was talking in person. And I thought, what if I did the perfect webinar as an email sequence? Well, email number 1 is addressing the big domino and telling my first epiphany bridge story. Email number 2 was secret 1, email 3, secret 2, blah, 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 like that. And I was like, holy crap, this is the perfect webinar in a 5-day email sequence. I was like, this could be as good, if not better, than even actually doing the actual webinar. Like, how insane is that? And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to test this either next week or the week after. I'm not sure when, but I will try to return and report my results to you. But basically, I'm going to vox Levi all of the emails in a 5 email sequence that goes to the perfect webinar and send them out, and we're going to see what happens. My thought is it's going to be amazing. So I'll find out and I'll report back to you. But the moral of the story is that this perfect webinar script, as perfect as it is for webinars, is like the perfect selling script, the perfect selling system. It's like the best way to create and present a pitch or an offer since the history of mankind. Like, I don't want to take credit for like rediscovering how sales should work, but I'm going to take credit for it right now. I'm just kidding. It's funny. I was trying to hire all these like researchers to go and figure out like who is the fastest growing non-VC backed SaaS platform in the history of the world. And I realized that there's no way to test that, because if they're not VC backed, they don't have to report numbers, and there's no way to know. And so I just realized like, wow, I think that I am the number one. And if I'm not, someone should come challenge me, but I'm going to just tell everyone I am from now to the rest of the time. So if you guys wonder what Clickfunnels is, it's the fastest growing non-VC backed SaaS startup company in the history of the world. And I'm sticking to that until somebody proves me wrong, because I'm pretty dang sure I'm right. So it's the same thing with this. So I'm going to call this the greatest sales something. I got nothing cool yet. Okay, I'm going to think on that. If any of you guys have an idea, shoot it over to me, because I honestly, like, when I was putting this together, Steven Larson, our team, he was like, this like redefines how sales as a whole should be done forever. And I was like, holy crap, it is. Like, oh, like, it's so amazing. So anyway, I'm excited for it. I'm proud of it. Cannot wait for you guys to have the Expert Secrets book. But until then, go to perfectwebinarsecrets.com. Go get the script. It's $4.95 shipping and handling. It's free. I think we order form bump you the PowerPoint slides, which I know that 47% of you will take that, because it's the greatest upsell order form bump I've ever had. So thank you for that. You'll get the PowerPoint and the keynote slides, so you can just rebuild your webinar quickly. And then there's an upsell where we did a 3-day event on the perfect webinar, which I'd recommend getting that too, because in that video, or in that course, one of our Ignite events, I had 100 people in the room, and I actually did a perfect webinar live on stage with an audience, and we made like 30 grand, and everyone watched me do it live, and it was like super kind of intimidating and scary. But that whole video's in there of me doing it, so you can see not only like how I do the pitch, but see like from like how I stand, tonality, like how I actually deliver it, all that kind of stuff. So hope it helps. Anyway, I'm at the event center. I gotta bounce. I am 1 minute early. That's actually not too shabby. Appreciate you all, and we will talk to you guys all again soon. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed the behind-the-scenes look at our funnel hacking projects. You can also watch the Funnel Hacker online reality show and watch us build and launch funnels live at www.funnelhacker.tv. If you'd like to come hang out with your fellow funnel hackers, come join our Facebook group at www.projectclickfunnels.com. Oh yeah, and don't forget, you can get a free MP3 player with the first 257 episodes preloaded at marketinginyourcar.com. Join us next time, and remember, you're just one funnel away from your dreams.